Stillwater's Morning Scramble, glad to have you here. It is a Thursday morning, and the first Thursday we've had with Senator Bill Coleman in a little while. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. I can hear myself in the background, though. Wow.
That better?
That's better. Mm-hmm. Although it was kind of cool, but if it had been somebody else, I would have liked it even more. But I can hear my voice going,
I'm trying to get it up where I can hear it too, Steve.
Okay. This will definitely work. Your day, and I appreciate you joining me so early in the morning, Bill. So.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of sleeping, Steve. It's the routine's not there yet.
When we mentioned, I asked if 8:40 would work, and you were jokingly saying the fact that you were used to going in at 9, and I hadn't really thought about your regular job and even the radio job. The contact with people have changed everything we do, right?
It has, Steve, and what's been going on with me, I've been doing both the radio and the Senate from the office. I'm the only one in the global headquarters of Team Radio, and it's been that way off and on a little bit. But I come in here and every day and leave just wiped out between radio work and Senate work, getting a lot of requests on the Senate side, lots of people needing lots of things right now. It was kind of weird yesterday, Steve. We had our first committee meeting, and I was sitting up here in the office of the Ponkin Theater of Team Radio in my suit and tie all by myself, and I was in a virtual committee meeting with the Health and Human Services Committee of the Oklahoma State Senate. We've got laptops now, and we voted some people in to serve on the various agency boards and commissions that fall under the purveyance of the Health and Human Services Committee. So it was different.
Yeah, you had that committee, and then obviously the big news that came out from the governor. And I'm going to replay between 9:30 and 10. We had the mayor on at 7:05 this morning. And he was surprised at the announcement. They hadn't been notified. He hadn't anyway. And so everybody was kind of caught by surprise. What about in your world? Did you see that coming or know what was coming?
I believe he went on at 2 o'clock with his Facebook feed. We had a Zoom meeting with Secretary of State Michael Rogers at 12:30. The legislature did, and he explained briefly what was going to happen and what the governor was going to announce at that COVID press conference yesterday. So we got about an hour's notice on it, Steve, which lately is a little bit more than we've been getting from the governor's office.
What were your thoughts when you heard what he was laying out there, the plans he was laying out?
The plan is not that bad. As long as he understands that if he's got to slam on the brakes, he'd better slam on the brakes and do it fast on this thing. He'd better keep an eye on all the data coming in. And, it's not the biggest earth-shattering move ever. It's not like, all right, we're done. Go about your business in a normal way. There are steps as we continue to take baby steps into reopening back up Oklahoma. So I will say I did like in theory his plan about the way to reopen it up in steps. But I as a legislator, I hope he understands that if he sees the slightest in spikes, he'd better slam the brakes and slam them hard.
One thing that is different than here and, say, Georgia, which is opening up tomorrow with certain things and the personal care things, is that what the governor says overrides what the municipalities are doing. It's not that way here, the way I understand from the governor and from Mayor Joyce. Is that correct?
That is correct now. Now, Senator Nathan Dahm of Broken Arrow has introduced a bill called, I believe, SX1, that would take away the power of the municipalities. I don't know how far that's going to get. We don't have much time left. We've got just a little over 4 weeks left in session, and certainly the budget's going to be the biggest priority. I haven't looked through Nathan Dahm's bill yet completely to see if indeed it does take away the power from the municipalities, but I don't think it'll pass.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
If it's in there or not.
When we like to talk about local control, that's kind of contrary to that, right?
It is contrary to that, and I'm a fan of the decisions coming from the boots on the ground. I don't think 23rd and Lincoln should decide what Stillwater's doing and what Ponca City's doing, because there could be different data coming in, different data available that says, hey, we don't want to do this yet. We want to stay safer.
Okay, I didn't ask you ahead of time. Are you ready to roll the dice and take a phone call?
Yeah, sure.
The answer would have I kind of put you on the spot there. Sorry about that. But you were on the air with State Senator Bill Coleman. Hi.
Morning, Senator. Hey, for the first time that my wife and I can remember, we actually get a refund from our Oklahoma taxes. Is there anybody actually processing those right now, or is that department shut down, or what? I haven't heard anybody say anything about the tax area.
That's a very good question. Thanks for that. I would imagine that they are trying to process some. Of course, the tax deadline has moved to July 15th, along with the federal tax ID. I would imagine in the tax commission they're trying to work as remotely as possible, but that's a very good question. I don't have an answer for that. We don't normally issue refunds in Oklahoma, so hopefully you'll be getting it soon, but I can certainly check into that to see what the tax commission's doing as far as processing returns right now. A lot of people have been switched over to the unemployment commission. I mean, they've grabbed people from all different areas of state government to help that onset of unemployment claims. So they might be working on the unemployment instead of the tax returns at this time.
Any follow-up?
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. So there are all different angles that we're working with. But again, going back to the governor yesterday, any final notes on, I don't know where you're going to be in Ponca City and in Kay County. We're going to kind of follow, when talking to the mayor here, he's going to kind of follow what the plan had been originally. And including we had Sherry Fletcher with the city on yesterday, and she was talking about there may be a time when masks are mandatory, and they were looking for people to sew those, and then the city, if they got enough of them, the city would kind of have a little event where they're giving some of those away. So they were still trying to look at an aggressive side of you. Where are we in Ponca City and in Kay County?
The Ponca City mayor announced he is going to go with the governor's recommendation.
Okay.
So hopefully tomorrow I can get an appointment done, and my Coach Gundy mullet will go away.
You know what's funny is there's been a lot of, well, wherever you fall on the side, a lot of people are going, I do need a haircut though.
Oh man, I do, Steve. I'm like, oh gosh, it's been 5 weeks now, I think, for me.
Okay, now tell me how you're going to do this with, I don't have his words right in front of me, but by also practicing the original social distancing. How are they going to do both?
Oh, there's no way.
When I heard him say that, I thought,
don't put the trimmer on a 6-foot pole. I don't think that's going to work too well.
a drone.
That's a possibility.
There we go. If
Or-
you're looking for another business, you're looking for a little, I can come up with the ideas and then you follow up on them, all right?
Or a haircutting robot.
There you go, 2 bits. So, hey, that's one of the things on that, and we cover everything with where the governor stands and where Senator Coleman stands, and there could be a bill out there you don't think it's going to pass where it could override the power of the local municipalities, but you think that's going to fail, and it'll be up to the individual community still, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I'm right on that yet, Steve. I haven't read the bill completely. The bill's first intent was to open up the state of Oklahoma, which, of course, the governor announced a phase-in process with that yesterday. But I want to say somewhere I heard that this bill would allow municipalities to not override what the state says. But I'd have to look into it for sure. I don't even know if it's going to get on the floor.
Yeah, boy, but it's been a busy week. We saw the governor the day before, I think, talking about tribal gaming. And your thoughts on that?
What the governor signed is illegal, and it will probably be shot down. I was not very happy the way he did that. He did not treat the legislature very well. He didn't include us in any of those conversations. Leadership found out what he was doing 30 minutes before the ceremony took place. So it was not a kumbaya moment the other day with the tribal compacts.
The communication issue that you're talking about seems to be very common, doesn't it?
It does. It sure does. Of course, the governor, he's a political newcomer, just like me. He's got to adjust to things, and I just wish he would open up his line of communication a little bit better and realize that Pro Tem Treat and Speaker McCall are not department heads. I'm not a factory worker. We are all in this together, as he likes to say.
Yeah, no, well said. Also, we were talking with a visit with Jesse beforehand about all the virtual meetings and Zoom. I'm looking for a game Zoom ball. So there probably already is one in there. If there's not, there should be.
I'm sure there is.
But you're having lots of committee meetings virtually now. You mentioned the fact that you were in a suit and tie sitting in your own office by yourself, right?
That is correct. We're using Microsoft Teams, Steve. So I zoom to the left and I team to the right. I have my desktop to my left and my laptop to my right. To the left is Zoom, to the right is Microsoft Teams. So it's an interesting world we live in, but we voted yesterday. We turned our microphone off mute and go aye, and we listen to the people who are going to be nominated to the boards and commissions and the presenting senator. Today there's a meeting of Business, Commerce, and Tourism, and I have a constituent who's being nominated to the Oklahoma Used Motor Vehicle and Parts Commission. So I will be in my suit and tie once again today and introduce that gentleman who will be virtually in the meeting from Barnstall.
Wow.
So it's a different world, but we are
Well,
getting
that
the
is.
people's business done.
Go ahead, Jesse. You got a question, I think.
Well, yeah, I was just going to tell Bill that Steve and I are in our suit and ties today.
Oh, yeah.
No. My real question for you was, do you foresee like these committee meetings changing, in the future and sticking to that Zoom format or using Microsoft Teams? Because we've been doing that a lot as well in, my workplace. And I think you're going to see that happen a little bit more. Just seeing if you think that trend will carry over with you guys. And we lost him.
Seem to have lost him temporarily
Yeah.
anyway. So he'll probably reboot and get back up. If somebody asked me about his political leanings, though.
Put some more quarters in.
Oh, okay. Very good. So you heard his question, I think, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just asking Bill about now that you guys are doing a lot of those committee meetings via Microsoft Teamworks and then with Zoom, do you foresee that carrying that trend over as everything gets back to normal?
One of the things the governor's looking at is the real estate footprint of the state of Oklahoma. We do lease a lot of office space, and we're certainly learning that some business can be done without having everybody in an office right now, Jesse. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some more remote work become full-time when this is all said and done. But I don't see a big percentage of it changing. But yeah, I think they're going to be looking at some ways to scale back on some office expense and do some things remotely. As we've all learned, it is possible to work away from the office, but I hope we get back to just normalcy and do get together soon. Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to tell you about Jesse, my daughter is making it through her first year at Oklahoma State. What'd you guys do to her? She came back home and she hates dirty dishes and she loves to cook.
Wow.
That's part of that training down here to be a cowboy.
There you go. If you need a reference, I can tell you it was a life-changing moment for her. She came back and was doing dishes. I'm like, who is this girl?
Wow, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, it is great. Y'all are doing a great job, by the way. I watch her in class every day when I get home. So y'all are doing great, keeping things going, as they say, in these unprecedented times.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's not a new norm for these kids. A lot of them are taking online classes, and I think just the new norm for them is doing it from home, doing it at their parents' house. A lot of them would be right here in Stillwater and have 2 or 3 classes on campus and maybe 1 class online or vice versa. So I think the kids adapt to it a lot easier than some of us that are instructors in it, or the professors that didn't. Maybe their classroom setting needs to be a little bit more hands-on, but it's being forced into an online setting. But I think overall the kids are adapting to it, and they're very resilient.
Well, I applaud the way you guys set it up quickly, and it seems to be working fine. But she does miss the college life, as do most of the students.
Bill, what's your next week going to be like? Are you going to be virtually meeting with other legislators all week long from Ponca, from your office there?
I will have more committee meeting work next week, Steve. I do have an option of going to the Capitol. I think I will do it one day, depending on the committee with Health and Human Services especially. We have a big appointment coming up with the Department of Health and Gary Cox. He has not gone through the process of being nominated by the Senate. So that'll be a big one. I don't really want to change horses in midstream. I think he's done a decent job, but that'll be a big one. I might want to go to there in person. We have a conference room where these meetings are taking place. You just have to say ahead of time if you're coming so they can get a head count and make sure we have proper social distancing.
Sounds great. Got a favorable comment from you that I was checking on my text, and they asked which party you were at. Actually, and I said he's Republican Senator Bill Coleman, but he zooms to the left and Microsoft Teams to the right. So is that accurate?
I guess that makes me a moderate, Steve.
Very good. Hey, I appreciate all you do. I really do. Can we do this next Thursday?
I believe so. I'd be more than happy to. I appreciate what you're doing too, and everybody there at Triple Play Sports Radio. It's good to listen to you guys talk. It brings a sense of normalcy. Radio does that I don't think you can get anywhere else these days.
So I've never had the morning scramble referred to as a sense of normalcy, but I like that.
I didn't say you. I said the show itself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Now, thanks for all you do, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Stay safe.